Well, I don't know what day this is supposed to be for all the I don't know what day this is supposed to be for all the corona crap that's going around the planet, but it's definitely it's definitely testing a lot of people's patience, especially their bank accounts. But anyway, for the curious, this is Lillooet Lake behind me right now. And should be some spring salmon thinking about coming up here fairly quick. Bring some more nutrients and life to the valley and the mountains. But anyway, here, let me share this email that came into me. Oh, I can't even tell when. It was a while back. Alright, here we go. Listen to this one. Hi, Steve. First, let me say that I really enjoy your site. I have a rabid curiosity about these beings, and you have helped scratch that itch. I've never seen a Sasquatch, but I've had some interesting things happen over the years. I'm 73 years old, and lived many of those years in the Rocky Mountains of western Wyoming, where I hunted more than I probably should have and guided big game each fall. My first real knowledge of these things came from information shared with me from a buddy of mine from a reservation land near Winchester, Wisconsin. We were serving in the wilds of Vietnam at the time. I don't remember all the details anymore, but what I do remember was that he and his grandfather were hunting in the backwoods when they heard a loud and strange call coming from the timber not far behind them. His father took him by the arm, led him away toward the truck in haste, telling him that anytime he heard that noise that he needed to get out of the woods fast. He didn't tell me much more than that, and I was too young and dumb to ask questions. From the sound of that story, it was a Sasquatch incident. While in Vietnam, we lived a pretty rough existence in pretty wild country. One bright moonlit night, while I was standing watch, I heard the perimeter wire. That's a concentrating wire, rattling like it was being shaken by something. Of course, I imagined it must be enemy troops coming to attack us. My guys were sleeping behind me about 10 or 15 yards away, and I was sitting alone in a bunker. I could only hear and not see. So, erring on the side of caution and being scared to death, I pulled the pin on a hand grenade and tossed it towards the noise. When the frag went off, there was a sound like a chimpanzee might make that went racing around the perimeter and out of hearing. To my knowledge, there were no nocturnal apes over there, and certainly none that were out and about at night. There were stories of rock apes, but the ones I saw were in the trees and not very big. One story went that a Marine was on watch in his fighting hole one night and he fell asleep. He woke up to a big ape beating the snot out of him. It sure couldn't have been what I knew as a rock ape. On another occasion, I was walking up patrol and was tail end. Charlie, the last man in line, is what it refers to as Charlie. The closest Marine was 20 yards ahead of me. While taking a short break, something heavy hit the ground within a few feet of me in the brush. I thought a hand grenade had been thrown at me, but there was no explosion. We moved on before I could investigate. Thinking about it, it fits the MO of Sasquatch with its rock-throwing habit. On a recent trip into the mountains where I used to live, I was off hunting marmots in a place I'd been to hundreds of times before. I took a short break and looked over the trail ahead of me. It rose gently up over the rocks in the aspen and over the crest of the rise about 100 yards away. I was overcome by serious foreboding. My instincts were telling me not to go over that hill. I learned a long time ago to listen to the little voice in my head and didn't go there. I'll always wonder what was over there. As you have said, listen to your instincts. Damn right. That's about it, brother. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your nose in the wind, and keep fighting the good fight. Maybe one day we'll have some honest answers about these things. Charlie Lamb. P.S. No need to respond. There you go. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks for sending those experiences in to us. And it's pretty obvious now. You know you're not alone. There's literally thousands of people that have had similar encounters as you have, and people from all over the world. It's pretty crazy. Well, it's not crazy now. It's just the way it is. And it's very interesting. Like I said before, the fact these things exist doesn't amaze me at all anymore. It's just a fact of life. But what I honestly find more amazing is the effect it has on the human population. The effect it has on people who decide to become different flavors of researchers. I mean, there's researchers out there who have an honest interest in this and they have no agenda. It's just they have a personal curiosity to figure out what the hell is going on. It also amazes me the reaction that a lot of these other people have when they need the control. They need people to believe what they want them to believe. They need people to not know what they know. There's people out there who hide all these details and keep things secret from the population. We're not allowed to teach our children about these things in an honest way. It's all very, very confusing, right? You know, our sixth sense, that's definitely something I would really love to learn more about and get absolutely in tune with. I'd love to be able to turn it on, turn it up, you know, turn it on and off with a switch and be deadly accurate with it. Wouldn't that be cool? But I guess until then, we just got to keep going with what we got. But anyways, I think that would be, I think that'd be very, very cool. It'd be great to manage your intuition perfectly, to be absolutely dialed in and absolutely in control of it and be able to turn it right up when you want it. That would be a very, very, very cool skill to have and be aware of. Anyways, on that note, let's read another incoming email that came in to me. Are you ready? Listen to this. Steve, good program as always. You've been talking about intuition and the sixth sense. I have a friend who is in the PSYOPs and remote viewing in the Army Special Forces. He just happened to know a lot of the same people that I knew when I was in the Army. I was not in the same type of work as him. He led me to a lot of interesting declassified information on the study of remote viewing. Written in PSYOPs written in the late 60s and 70s. The interesting thing is that it was determined that intuition, sixth sense, and remote viewing all came from the autonomic portion of the brain and nervous system. That is the part of the brain that controls non-conscious functions like breathing, heartbeat, organ function, and stuff that just happens that we don't have to concentrate to get it done. That also means that intuition and sixth sense is an inherent ability that we just have. It just happens. It's not a function that we do much to control, except ignore it enough to suppress it. Makes sense to me. What do you think? Chris? Well, makes sense to me, Chris. You know, it totally makes sense to me. But I sure wish that we could be absolutely in tune with it and use it to focus. And especially for myself and a lot of other people that are in the mountains, in the woods, and on the ocean, etc., as much as we are. I think that would be an absolute awesome skill to be in absolute control of while we're out and about in the wilds of the planet, right? And I'm pretty certain if you could be in tune with that, you would probably get a few frequencies mixed up with a few other species out there, I would imagine, because obviously your sixth sense would pick up on them and pick up on where they were, what they were, possibly. Who knows? But anyway, that's it for now with this quick little video for everybody while we keep hammering along. The book's definitely coming along. I got some very, very incredibly skilled graphics people out there. I've offered up their services to me to help me with the book cover, and there's some pretty wicked versions have been created. We're going to make the choice on one of the final ones here pretty quick, and we just got to get the final edit for the first book into a professional editor to get that done, and I guess we'll launch it on the ebook thing first. Yeah, so I guess the first place we'll get the book out will be online. I guess there's ebooks or something, and a bunch of other people are saying get it on the audiobook. We're gonna read it. I'm like, holy cow! I think there's like 325 pages or something. Where am I gonna get the time to read that sucker fluently and clearly, so that people can listen to me relay that book across online? I don't know. I guess if this corona crap gets any worse, maybe I'll have to have that for a project to do inside the house. Who knows? But anyway, all you people that are stuck indoors in the big city, I feel for you. It's got to be quite frustrating, but stay strong. It'll pass. It'll pass. The good always comes in the end, and not too much has changed for us really, because we live rural and most of the time spent outside with the horses running around the mountains anyway. So grocery stores are still open. It's mind-boggling to me that all of the people that are handling our food do not have masks on, and they're not being mandatory tested in the morning before going to work. I don't understand that part, but I'm not in control of anything myself. But I think if I had a choice, I would definitely be mass producing handheld virus testers, and I would be testing anybody who handled any food along the chain. Would have to be mandatory tested in the morning before they went to work. I definitely would be into doing that. But anyways, whatever. I'm sure there's a lot of many skilled people around the planet working on this problem, and as usual, I'm sure they will come out with an answer in the end for sure. But in the meantime, stay strong. Don't drive yourself crazy. There's good coming. There always is good coming. Don't forget it. See you later on. Okay, I'm going to read another one. Hold on. Okay, so Colorado is definitely a hotbed, without a doubt. Colorado, there's numerous states and provinces that seem to have more concentrated sightings of these crazy things. But Colorado is definitely on the map, with numerous sightings all over the place. No shortage of people emailing me from that state, including this email right here. So let's have a little read of this one. Hi Steve, I live in Colorado and was always skeptical about the existence of these things until about 10 years ago. One of my brothers came out to visit from the East Coast and wanted to go do some rock hounding. I live in Buena Vista, and we have a bunch of savage wilderness all around. I took him to a place well known for gathering garnets and cool rocks. Now I must add that I've worked in 2 different state prisons and am very keen on details and horrible situations. Facts and accurate reporting, writing are a must. Both my brother and myself have 20/20 vision and have been in the woods all our life. Hunting, camping, fishing, you name it, we've done it. We're up on a cliffside approximately 300 feet above the Arkansas River in Browns Canyon when I looked down at the river. What looked like Chewbacca from Star Wars was standing near the river about 100 yards downstream. I say Chewbacca because the color of the hair was the same, only in comparison Chewbacca would have been much skinnier. I tapped my brother and said, "Look right there, it looks like a freaking Bigfoot. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" He affirmed that I was not hallucinating, and we just stared at it for 5 more seconds. The creature was looking our direction, and I know it was watching us also. It took slow steps back without moving its arms, as if trying for a minimal noticeable movement, and disappeared into the trees. We stood there for a few moments trying to make excuses for what we clearly saw. It was the strangest experience I ever had. Again, I must say it was summer and no hunting season was on. I owned a ghillie suit, and it was not that because at the distance I could see hair. I could not make out details of the face at that distance, but it appeared fairly flat with no prominent features. As far as my feelings were concerned, I was more in amazement than fear. We had the high ground and some reasonable distance from it, and my jeep was just over the other side. I cannot deny the evidence of my own eyes, and have gone over the scenario in my head for years. I would not have wanted to be any closer to it because it was very big and powerful looking. I always carry in the wilderness, but looking at that thing, my .45 would probably have felt like a bee sting to it. The experience has not kept me from going to the well because I figured the law of averages. One experience in my life at 47 years old, I'll probably never see another one. If the subject comes up, I tell my story to people, and like you, I don't care what they think, so feel free to use my name. Your channel is one of my favorites for both hunt stories and this subject. Thanks, Sean Lagu. Lagu, I hope I pronounced that properly, man. L-A capital G-U-E. Alright, thanks Sean, thanks for that email you sent in to share with everybody. And again, what do you say? You're not alone. there's literally tens of thousands of people that are having these experiences. It's not going to stop, it's not possible. And I'll probably say that until I'm purple in the face for years on end. And to all the people that may be getting annoyed with these videos, well, you got the choice whether or not you want to watch, don't you? But the fact of the matter is that this is going on. This is the honest truth, and every single human being out there deserves a choice of having access to the facts and the knowledge about these things, especially before they are about to take their family camping or on a picnic somewhere where some crazy shit may have just gone down. Alright? And that is solid, absolute, fierce fact. And I don't understand why every single human being on the planet doesn't back that up alone as a motive to get this shit out in the open. Right? I mean, who doesn't want to have a fair crack at deciding whether or not they're going to take their small children over there, maybe on the other side of the lake right here, to a little provincial or state park, and meanwhile they haven't a clue what just went on right there the night before or the day before or days before or whatever it is, right? It's just not fair, and an end to the BS is here now. It's here. The end is here. New beginnings. Here we go. Back to you guys later on.